Hello there. I have two issues today. I will keep it short so it will not get too boring. The first one is an article by Reuters reporting about intelligence tests conducted on personnel in the Israeli military. The study concluded that adults who smoke a pack of cigarettes a day have a 7.5 points lower IQ than those that don't smoke. The argument seems circular. Think about it. But wait, does that apply to Congress too?
Which is a notion you're getting away with peddling despite the fact that America has the greatest health care in the world.
What is he smoking? But let's come to the more burning issue, job creation. Unless the employment figures improve significantly, the Dems have a problem. You see, it took 8 years to get it here. Now, are we getting out in 2 years? Let's go back a second to 2009. Paul Krugman, the 2008 Nobel Prize winner for economy, strongly suggested a stimulus package at least twice the size as ultimately enacted. The basis for Krugman's recommendation was the donut principle, a model that represents the balanced domestic monetary flow under near full employment conditions. On one side you have the consumer demand. On the other you have the supply side, the manufacturers and service providers who employ people and pay them from the revenues received by the sale of their products or services. The demand side is enhanced by loans made by banks which finance, for example, car or home purchases. And finally, you have the government, which for economic purposes is nothing more than a consumer employer that buys goods and employs people. Each one of these participants is vital. If one drops out and the effect is not compensated for by the others, Houston, we have a problem. Take the lenders, the banks for example. If they stop lending, the entire economy may falter because consumers stop buying cars. The car makers lay off, which cuts even more demand, which leads to more layoffs, etc. Indeed, banks stopped lending and we found ourselves in deep trouble. Enters the government. Unless the government makes up for the consumer demand loss, the specter of a Great Depression is on the horizon, and believe me, only smoking Republicans can wish for that. Of course, since tax revenues are diminished already, any stimulus package needed to make up for the demand loss will increase both the deficit and the national debt. That is especially serious if an administration has already driven this country close to receivership, be it because of tax cuts and or because of wars of which at least one was commenced absent any justification. In that context, the question comes up, what did Bill Clinton's economists do to create a surplus? Well, one of their strategies was to strongly support innovation. While poorly managed, remember the dot-com bubble, it created not only revenues, but made the United States a technology leader, the results you can still see today. Next, let's look for a second how the meager stimulus package was used. As it turns out, much of it went into infrastructure. And while that may be desirable for a number of reasons, it is highly inefficient when it comes to job creation. Reason? Payroll costs are only a fraction of the total project budget, most of which goes to material, land, etc. So, what are the chances of getting a second stimulus package passed? Nil. Remember the party of no, 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 blocking everything to torpedo the Dems? Actually, I think we may not need a publicly funded second dip. I did some research and found a different solution. Back in the Clinton years, a program was highly popular called Opic. Don't confuse it with the old guys. In operation since 1972, Opic stands for Overseas Private Investment Corporation. It is a government agency, one of the few that make a profit every year. Opic's mission is to encourage American investors to invest in underdeveloped countries, a noble gesture indeed. One of the incentives consists of providing double indemnity insurance. That is, if you lose 1 million, you get 2 million back. Well, at this time, we need to lure foreign capital into the United States. I did some research. There are literally hundreds of billions of dollars investment capital globally, from Dubai through you name it, looking for promising opportunities without a risk. All we have to do is to provide the same incentives for foreign investors Opic offers to domestic investors. Foremost, double indemnity insurance for losses. And of course, we need to direct investments away from infrastructure into innovation, foremost into small businesses which need to hire manpower. Not only do we get capital into the domestic monetary flow, we get innovative products which once again will make the US the leader in innovation, and we hire again. There is another incentive for the foreign investor, the initial public offering. If he invests into small businesses, a dollar sign shines at the end of the tunnel in form of a public offering. In other words, what I am suggesting is a reverse Opic, or if you prefer Opic 2. Instead of providing incentives to export capital, enticing foreign investors to invest right here. And trust me, double indemnity is a strong incentive. I sent copies of my proposal to Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi. But don't hold your breath. Senate and Congress must be staffed with smokers, and not just Republican smokers, because they seem unable to see the most obvious and simplest solutions. Remember the 2,000 pages healthcare graffiti? Go, send your senators and congressmen letters and suggest luring foreign money into the states by creating a reverse Opic program. Meanwhile, happy year of the tiger, and no, I don't mean Tiger Woods. By the way, for crying out loud, why doesn't the media leave this guy alone? I'll see you. Now, what was he smoking?
Which is a notion you're getting away with peddling despite the fact that America has the greatest health care in the world.